The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.
See our Civil Christ Education Services and the Phoenix School Foundation.
Good afternoon, Akure. Glad to be here. Good to see you all. I hope we've learned something today. And the aim of this summit that what we have learned today, we take it back to our communities and train other people. Do we promise to do that? Thank you. So I'm the last speaker for today, before we then take questions and answers, and then we take pictures. So my topic here is simple: raise to thrive and lead. All right? We're raising children to thrive and lead. Right? And that's what our theme is: empowering the next generation of leaders, raising children to thrive and lead. So we're going to break down this topic, so we understand what the theme of this conference is, because sometimes it's just to fix a theme. We don't really understand the key words in the theme, all right? So what kind of children do we want? At the end of this summit, we've talked about getting digital, we've talked about safeguarding, we've talked about child protection, and we have one speaker, he's not here today, to talk to us about drugs, okay? So when you follow the Train the Trainer Summit YouTube page, you will see videos of all our summits. Then you will get to see some of our speakers who will not be here today. So you will watch the sessions on drug abuse, on our CSP has spoken about child abuse and safeguarding. So there are many other topics that we talk about, all right? So please like our YouTube page and watch the videos. So the first question I'm going to ask us today: what kind of children are we raising, or what kind of children do we want to raise in this 21st century? Are we raising children who wait for instructions, or children who know how to find their way? So which one are we raising? Food for thought. Hold that question, all right? So we know that the world has changed. How many of us know that the world has changed? Do we know? All right. So the world now is fast-paced, it's fast-changing, all right? It's digital and very complex. Do we agree? All right. So less structured. I'm sure most of us grew up in a very structured environment, but now it's less structured. The world is changing. And then our children in this 21st century, they face certain problems that we cannot solve for them. All right? So some of us are not very digitally literate. Am I correct? And our children face problems daily which we are not able to solve for them. So what are we going to do as parents, as teachers, as community leaders? We must raise children who have the capacity to cope in this fast-changing world. Those are the kind of children we are raising. So we have a problem, and what's that problem? A very silent problem, where we basically focus on academic performance. Teachers, am I correct? So we place emphasis on academic performance. You see our schools, we put A1 when they're marketing the schools. It's 90% is C's. That's what we look out for as parents. Isn't it? Parents, when they are looking for school, that school, they all get A's, all the children, they are so brilliant, you know. So we place emphasis on academic performance. And then we neglect the emotions of the children. We raise children who are then afraid to make mistakes, all right? Because we have placed emphasis on the grades. We want them to have all A's. And we celebrate those kind of things. This child got all A's in my head, everybody's clapping. Oh, that child is so sad. And then we raise children who are dependent on parents' approval. Yes, children, anything mommy says, anything daddy says. And they are not building the right capacity that they need for 21st century. That's the problem we face. So what does it mean to thrive? What does it mean to thrive? Let's go to the key words in the theme. What does it mean to thrive? To thrive means what? Let me just take a screenshot. So later, go to your dictionary. To thrive means that you are adaptable. You are not fragile. So any changes that come, the child is able to cope. The child is very curious. Those are the kind of children we want to raise. They are curious, not passive. They are not making all decisions for them. They are very confident. They can speak up. That's what scarcity was talking about. If you go to our advocacy group, unmute the voices. Your children are confident. All right, we're going to go into how to make them confident. So, kind of tools. And when they face setback, how do they recover from setback? Are they shamed when they fail? So, we're going to look at that. So, thriving means that children are resilient and they can trust themselves. All right. What does it mean to lead? Next slide. What does it mean to lead? So what leadership means that the child can think, taking initiative. Teachers here, what are the 21st century skills for a teacher? Teachers, can you name some 21st century skills for it? I can see now chairperson here with his cap. So tell me, what are the 21st century skills that you need?
The secretary of the patient of the well-developed.
So there are some keywords I'm looking for. There are several of them. Do we know that? Anybody? Critical thinking. What else? Digital literacy. Did someone say problem solving? Problem solving. What else? Emotional intelligence. What else? Adaptability. That's one of them. So ask Google. Go to Google. Leadership skills. So go to Google and ask Google. So some of them, independent thinking, how to solve and how to take responsibility. So this is what we reward as caregivers. Good behavior. We want our children to win all their awards for best behavior. I don't know why we do that thing. Best behaving man, best behaving child. But guess what? That thing stifles independent thinking because we're putting emphasis on behavior. Compliance. So I'm trying to put them in a box. When I say sit here, you sit here. Move here, you know, they are not robots. They are not robots. And then we feel risk-taking, we stifle that. Innovation, we stifle. How many of us know that we need this kind of skills now in Nigeria? We need these skills in Nigeria. Do we need innovators? Do we need innovators in Nigeria? Do we need risk-takers? Do we need people that can think? So when we place emphasis on behavior, good behavior, good, I'm not saying behavior is bad, it's very good. But when we place emphasis on behavior alone, stifling the other things, like independent. Next slide. So this is what happens. When you silence children, you stifle their curiosity. When you force them to obey, they can't think. And when you make them perfect, you want everything to be so perfect, you stifle growth. That's what happens. So what we need now for this 21st century is people who can find their way, pathfinders. So I'm going to give us certain tools that we can use to build such skills in children. Tool one. So as a caregiver, as a parent, as a teacher in your classroom, these are the kind of things you can do. Instead of saying, do this, do that, you want to force obedience, you can ask the children, what do you think about this situation? What do you think? So let them speak. You know that thing is helping them build problem-solving skills? What options do you see? All right? What might happen if you try it this way? You see that the child is talking, right? The child is talking, and guess what? Children, what form of that? Children learn to think before acting. So you are building critical thinking skills. And one of the ways to build critical thinking skills is through questioning. How do you question? How do you ask questions? What kind of questions are you asking? Are you saying, go and do this, go and do that, go and do this, go and do that? Or you are saying, what do you think about this? So problem solving and critical thinking you can develop through questioning. These are the kind of questions that you can ask for teachers. So now, this is now like a reflective question I want you to ask. You can write it down when you get home, answer that question. So when you were correcting a child, maybe in your classroom or in your home, how do you correct that child? So let's move on. Think about it. So the second tool now that I want to share is how do you respond to failure when your child fails at something? When your child comes back from school and their grades are bad, how do you respond? Do you respond with pity? Do we respond with pity as parents? As a teacher, when a child fails in school, do you shame the child? I say, oh no, no. Do people do that? Do people do that? Some say yes, some say no. So when a child fails in your class as a teacher, it's a time for you to reflect as a teacher. You will start by asking yourself, did you actually teach the child correctly? How did you teach the child? Were you observing? Did you wait till the end before the child came out and said the child failed? What about continuous observation when you are teaching? This is for classroom teachers now. So how did you observe when the child was learning? When they were doing the classwork, were you going around and looking in their books to say, okay, correct it immediately. Don't wait till the end of term before you say you failed. When your homework marked, when the child comes back with homework, did you look at the homework? And after looking at the homework, did you do your correction? Because sometimes you see that teachers don't look into the children's notebooks. Am I correct? They don't look in. So at the end of time, you just bring a result and say failed. Did you do your work as a teacher? Like CSP said, that you give account to God. You don't want the school director on your neck or your supervisor always on your neck checking your notes and making sure if you look at the notes, if you correct it. It's something that you should do as a trained teacher. You will look at your children and when did this child go wrong? It's not for punishment, it's not for shaming, but for you to go back to that topic and teach that topic again. Alright? Teach that topic again and make sure that you have done your work before that. Then at home, as a parent, your child makes a mistake, what do you do? It's not weakness. So in our homes, we encourage you to use mistakes, normalize people making mistakes. It's part of life. Don't shame your children, don't overbeat. CSP said something about you say kid, you can't hide that kid. So overflogging, do we think it produces the result that we want? It doesn't. Alright? It doesn't. So children have to learn that mistakes are part of learning. So the acronym for failure fail is first attempt in learning. That you failed once is not the end. So we must normalize making mistakes in our homes and in our classrooms. And then growth requires a small effort. We must learn to correct our children without shaming them. Please, if that's one thing you will take away, learn not to shame your children or laugh at them, make fun of them when they make mistakes. So guess what? It's another tool. What kind of language should you use to build these leaders? Because remember our thing, we're talking about we are raising the next generation of leaders. What kind of language are you speaking in your houses? So instead of saying things like you are wrong, can you say things like let's examine that or let's discuss this? And guess what? When your child is comfortable talking to you, the same way if someone molests that child, they will still be comfortable to tell you because you have cultivated communication. That's one of the skills of the 21st century learner. Communication is one of them. And you need to cultivate it. Don't just come and say, let's communicate just like that. You need to build it. And one of the ways to build it is through questioning and speaking. Alright? So the language is like, let's examine this. Instead of saying, why can't you? You can say things like, what's stopping you from doing this? What are the limitations? What are the barriers? Talk to me. Do you understand? Don't try that again. Do we say that? No. Don't try that again. For instance, you say things like, what did you learn from this mistake? What did you learn? Then they talk about it. So guess what? Our words make a difference. Our words are very powerful. Our words, as a teacher in your classroom, your words are very powerful. As a parent, your words are very powerful. Your words make or mar the individual. Alright? So let's move on to another tool. We're giving you practical tools, not that we're just talking. What are you going to do when you get home? Starting with your words. How do you treat failure? How do you correct the child? All of that. Not first thing should not be to the beats. Alright? That's not the first step. Of course, there's a place for that. There's a place because we're still Africans at the end of the day. So 2, 3, how do you create a safe space in your class and at home for your children to be able to think? Because back to the thing, we are trying to raise 21st century children who are adaptable, who can thrive. And one of the ways you can thrive is that you can think. So at home, children invest when questions are well formed. Please be patient. Let your children ask you questions. They are not parents. I know sometimes you're so tired, you come back from work, you're exhausted, right? And that child just comes to you and they want to ask you questions. So you might say something like, can we do it later? Or come back in 1 hour. Do you understand? Instead of pushing that child and saying, you talk too much, get out of my room. I think so, I'm guilty too. I'm guilty. So that's why trainer summit is here. We are all learning. Okay? Because we're speaking to ourselves. I have a 7-year-old, right? Because it comes to me, I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted. And sometimes I will snap. Do you understand? Say, you know, get out of what I have learned from training the trainer summit that I need to be patient. You can say, can we talk about this later? Or come back in 30 minutes, I promise. By then you can respect the bit. When they bring up ideas, no matter how stupid the ideas sound, don't mock them. Because if you mock them, they will be quiet and they will not share their ideas with you again. Don't mock. And then when they make mistakes, first step is not to punish. That's not the first thing. That's not the point. And then when you are trying to raise children who are innovative, because we mentioned some keywords, there's innovation, problem solvers, 21st century leaders that were raising next generation, innovators, problem solvers, people that can think independently, children that can think critically, they will not grow when they are afraid. Innovation does not grow with fear. Let's repeat that. Innovation does not grow with fear. Again. Innovation does not grow with fear. Thank you very much. So please write that. If there's a way in your class or at home, you are making people so scared of you, you need to go and rethink, all right? And change. That's what training trainer summit is here for. To learn, unlearn, and revenge. So if you are making people afraid of you, children, when they see you coming with a cane, they're afraid, they run away, that teacher is so wicked, so weak. Why are you so wicked and so weak? There's actually innovation when you do that. All right? So leadership will grow when there's psychological safety, when that child feels safe, emotionally, psychologically. They are not afraid. They are not afraid. And that's why we see these white children abroad. They are very confident. Very confident. They can ask anybody any question. They'll look you in the eye, call you by your name and ask you questions. But in Nigeria, they don't look at me. I'm talking and you're looking at me. You don't have respect. Do you understand? You know, I went to training in one school, and the lady said to me, when I was talking about building confident children and all, she said, for her culture, they're not supposed to look at elders in there. So when your elder is talking about looking like this, I said, how do you feel if you're asking your child a question in the class and they're answering like they're looking down? She said, they don't like it. I said, but you're doing it. So we have the cultural barriers as well. The cultural, but now, why this something is important is that we need to go beyond those cultural barriers. That's why we are training you. Right? That's why we are training you. That you should be able to look people in the eye and speak to them. And if they say to you, don't you have respect? Then you say, please, I have respect, but you can respectfully correct an elder. Yeah? So number 4, next tool that we're giving to you is learn to transfer responsibility early to your children. Transfer responsibility early to your children. So they should learn to take ownership of their actions. And guess what that builds? It builds accountability. Are we trying to raise leaders who are accountable? Are we trying to raise leaders who are accountable? All right. Do we need it in Nigeria? Thank you. So how are you going to raise children who take ownership of their actions? How are you going to raise children who are accountable? Starting from chores at home, age-appropriate chores, no matter the age, 3 years, 2 years, starting from when they scatter their toys, they can pick it up, right? Pick it up and tidy it up. So go and ask, go online, search age-appropriate chores that you can give to your children, and things like watering your plants outside. helping to wash the dishes, helping in the kitchen, helping to clean their own spaces first of all right? So transfer responsibility early. Let them make decisions at their level and solve small problems in the house. Even in the classroom, I'm sure some of us already do that when we're trying to arrange the class. So, okay, you are responsible for the pencils today. You're responsible for sharing books. You're responsible for keeping class monitor. So you can rotate it weekly in the class and say this week this person is responsible. So those things build independence, they build problem solving and ownership mentality. Don't be too quick to rescue your children when they make mistakes. Any small thing, mommy wants to quickly go and help. Let me do that for you. So you're thinking they're not capable. Do you understand? So we're not able to raise children who have capacity. And it does not fall from the sky. That is why that is what we're here to learn, that it is intentional. It doesn't fall from the sky. You want your children to be able to make their beds. You must give them the opportunity to make their beds. No matter how badly they do it, let them do it. If they wash the plate and it's oily, no problem. Wash it like that and leave it. Later you can go and wash it again. But don't take it from them. You don't know how to wash. Then quickly you have rescued that child. You can always go later and go and wash it when they are not there. But don't do it in their presence that what you have done is bad. Do you understand? So starting early, then to transfer responsibility. So now let us think about this reflection, a reflective question. What's that thing I'm doing for my child that child can do by themselves? Think about it. For a few seconds in your house as a parent. What is that thing that I do for my child that child can handle? And what is one responsibility I can transfer this week in my classroom? What can I allow my child to do at home? Think about it. When you get home, please think about it. I said someone wants to share. If anyone that wants to share, we move on so we can have time for questions. So, allowing children to thrive is not like you are very permissive, anything goes in your house. You still need structure, all right? Structure matters. Children need clear structures, clear values at home. So the message has to be consistent between the home and the school. So that's where parent-school partnership comes in. So when a school has communicated and says, these are what we believe in, these are the values we are teaching your child, the parent has to take that same message home and enforce it. Parents and school, they must work hand in hand to raise the child. So the parent is not the enemy of the school, and the school the enemies of the parents. They must work together. Clear, consistent values, consistent boundaries. All right. So when you say things like you are not supposed to steal, don't steal, and the parent is lying in front of the child, you see that there's inconsistency. Right? You see there's inconsistency. You are telling the child, do what I'm telling you, but don't do what I'm doing. In traffic, you can slow down and tell someone through the traffic water. And you tell the child, you are not supposed to agree. You see that there's inconsistency between what you are doing and what you are telling the child to do. So there has to be that accountability. So what is that balance? The balance is that you guide them but still give freedom. So that's how you build leadership, guided freedom. So you don't lead them to just be free, still guide them. That's why you are here to train. That you know how to guide your children. You know what to do in case of when you see pedophiles around. You know what to do when there's a case of drugs. You know what to do in every situation. You are well informed as a parent. And what is your role as an adult? It's not to control. That's not your role. Your role is to cultivate. Cultivate. You can Google that key. When you get your van, ask Google, what does it mean to cultivate? Go and ask. So you understand. So what your role is that you are shaping thinking patterns, how that child thinks. That's your role. Emotional responses, you are shaping that child's emotions. You are shaping your child's confidence levels. Alright? If your child is not confident, fine, look at what you are doing. And how they see the world, you are shaping that. In your home, in your class. So it's important that you know that what sort of responsibility is in the life of these children. Generation Alpha 15 and below, you are shaping their worldview. So it's a very big responsibility. It's not something we must take lightly. And that's why the convener took it upon herself to say, this message for our pastor has to go to the 36 states of the Federation. It's an audacious vision. This is a round of applause for the convener. It's an audacious vision. Because the message has to be consistent, the message has to be heard everywhere. We may not be able to reach you everywhere, but if we reach you, you can reach other people. There's a ripple effect. So I'm sure that, we have teachers here, when you go back, school owners here, talk to your teachers. Parents here, they are part of parents' communities, they are part of churches, religious leaders here. Talk to people in your churches. Alright, follow our channels, go and watch previous videos. What is on YouTube, so that they will learn. Alright? Get the information. What did I say? Information. Alright. So what's the bigger picture? We're not just raising children. We're raising who? Future leaders. We're raising the people that are going to make decisions for us in the next 10 years. These are the people we're raising. 10, 20 years, we're raising people that are going to decide the fate of Nigeria. We're raising people that are going to build Nigeria. So it takes intentionality. We don't just wake up and say, we're going to fix Nigeria. Everybody's saying we need to fix, How are we going to fix Nigeria? How? Some of us are already too old, do you understand? But we can save the next generation, right? And it takes intentionality. So we build the future that we want to see. The countries that are doing it well, they didn't wake up and think just started working. They built it. We like America. Everybody wants to Japan. Everybody wants to go to America. Okay, not a lot too. Okay, what of Canada? London. Everyone wants to go to London. But we are thinking now. Some of us will try and go, but they will not give us visa. So we are stuck here in Nigeria, alright? So we must intentionally build Nigeria. This is very important because this is our country. So even though you go, you will still come back, right? Come back. You are able to go ahead from there forever. You will start replacing. So let's build Nigeria. Let's be intentional about building Nigeria. So this is my final slide. This is the call to action. What are we trying to do? So to build the next generation of leaders, first step is number one, allow your children to do what? Allow them to what? Number two, allow making mistakes. They can make mistakes. Please don't be in a hurry to punish, beat, shame. No. Transfer responsibility to them. Don't do everything. Women are too strong. You go to market, you cook, you clean, you do everything that your children are just looking at seriously. And encourage them to think. And how do you encourage them to think? I said that. How do you encourage children to think? How? Questions. Ask constructive questions, not just any kind of questions. Constructive questions that will make them to speak. So what do you think about this? Do you understand? You want to know what's going on in their head. What do you think about us making this look like this? Little things in your daily interactions. What do you think about how we decorated this house? Do you think it's changed the color? What do you think about the color combination? What do you think about this? Ask questions. So the leadership we are trying to cultivate starts now. It's not later, it's now. Now. And so in closing, we want to raise children who trust their instincts, who can think even when you are not there. Because some people die one day. And when you go, can your children trust their instincts? Or they are waiting for mommy and daddy to tell them everything? Can they think when they are faced with a problem? Can they come out of that one without being able to say, Mommy, what should I do? Daddy, what should I do? You have not raised with that baby. And they can act courageously when they face challenges. They are courageous, like our CSP here, the courageous CSP. And they can lead responsibly. We want responsible leaders in Nigeria. Do we want responsible leaders in Nigeria? Do we want accountable leaders in Nigeria? All right, let's listen. So thank you for coming to raise the next generation of leaders in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
The Duke's Infant and Child Foundation, advocating for children's brighter future.